Hey everyone, and welcome to the Hair Healer Podcast. I'm the host, Colleen Dixon, aka the Hair Healer. On my show, I interview clients, hairstylists, healers, friends, family, people in the beauty industry, and sometimes just a person with a story. We discuss their lives, healing journeys, astrology, inner child healing, spirituality, trauma, hopes, dreams, and everything in between. All questions are channeled to me in the moment while doing the interview. My hopes is to give a raw and uncensored view into someone's world and soul in hopes to raise the consciousness of the planet and bring connection back into the world. Now join me and let's go exchange some energies. Fun, it's the Hair Healer. Welcome to episode 2 of the bonus episodes, aka originally what I thought was going to be episode 2 of season 2. This is, sorry if it sounds a little echoey, super exciting news. I'm recording this intro in the first ever Hair Healer studio, podcast studio that I'm building in my living room right now. So I didn't get all my soundproofing ready yet. I just got my table. If you've been following me along on Instagram, you've seen as I've torn it all down, been rebuilding. So it might sound a little echoey. It won't be like that forever. I'm really, really excited. I've recorded this intro 5 times already. Okay. That's not even go there, but I really have. Just excited to talk. It's like a new space. And when you find a new space, you're just like getting into the flow. And something I noticed that I do is right away, like, you know, a Virgo rising and Gemini sun, so ruled by Mercury, I instantly like, okay, I'm going to jump on this. I'm going to talk. And I'm like, oh, wait, what? That all came out wrong? Or this isn't happening, or I'm just learning the new flow. So again, this is like the 6th time I'm doing this intro. And either way, even if I screw up, say words all backwards, you're going to hear it. I don't care. I can't do it again tonight. I'm tired. So anyways, let me tell you before we jump on, please follow me on the Hair Healer Podcast Facebook page. Why I haven't made this 8 months ago, I don't know, but follow me now. I'm really excited. I'm going to start posting all my Facebook content onto there. Also, the 100th follower will win a slamming prize. Not going to reveal it yet, but it's going to be slamming. Follow me on Instagram at the Hair Healer 1111. If you have a question, a suggestion, something you can bring of value to the Hair Healer Podcast, please email me, thehairhealerpodcast@yahoo.com. Now, I'm really excited about this episode. As a lot of you guys know, I went back to Pittsburgh back in June during the summer solstice, and I grew up outside of Pittsburgh in the middle of nowhere. You can go back onto my social media and see that I did a lot of videos. That's when I decided not to go back to the salon. I made a big major change during that weekend. And also, who I needed to see was one of the most influential people that I ever had personally in my career, Jimmy Dinatale. And before I get into that, I went back there, made the decision. And before I actually called my boss back to say, yeah, I'm definitely not coming back to the salon, I had to go see him. And well, we were doing this episode, but we went to dinner first and I picked him up and I was like, look, I'm not going back to the salon. And he always used to say I was a star. He was my boss 10 years ago, longer than that. And then when I was getting high on drugs, he used to call me Lindsay Lohan because she was getting high too at the time. It was funny. We joke about it on this episode. And he said to me, Colleen, you are a star. You can do anything. I've watched you. I've watched you grow. I've watched you shine. Like, this is what you're made for. Like, follow your dreams. And I said, okay, that's what I needed to hear. And then we recorded this episode. So I met Jimmy many years ago. It was my first real salon job when I had gotten out of the assisting part. And my sister, one of her many careers, God bless, she's now found her career path, but she had many different ones. She went to beauty school and did hair for 2 months, the same time I did. She worked at the salon with Jimmy. She quit, decided hair wasn't for her. And she said, Colleen, you need to go interview there. I went to interview. And Jimmy said to me, one of the first things, this old crazy Italian, right? Which I love old Italian men. My last boss was an old Italian man, Jimmy. I mean, he was not Jimmy. He was Anthony. But I just love, I don't know. I used to tell my dad I was going to marry into the mob. But nevertheless, he's got this, you'll hear it in the voice, a Leo rising, and he's talking. And I remember he said, do you like to party? And I said, hell yeah, I like to party. You know, I was like 20 at the time or 19. He said, all right, well, I like people to work for me that like to party like rock stars. Now, we'll say we did our fair share of partying. We did our fair share of crying. That man was the first person to tell my family I was on heroin. He was one of the first people to find out. We went through some hard times, some good times. That man was like my second father. He was in my life when my father died of cancer. That man was always supportive. And more importantly, he taught me the personality of this industry, the hair industry. He taught me how to heal people, how to talk to people, how to work with people, how the psychology works with people. Prior to that, no one had ever taught me that, right? Bosses, the people I assisted for, salon, beauty school, no one ever taught me. But this guy was so emotionally intelligent and had so much street smarts that he had turned that into doing, like, he had been doing hair since he was 19, but he had used that and had this wealth of 60 years of information. And even before that, I'll tell you, I actually met him before that, but we talk about it on this episode, so I'm not going to get into it. We met the first person that ever cut my hair when I moved into Pittsburgh, but I forgot about that. So I needed him to be on this episode because, again, who I became, how I interacted with my clients, how I learned to heal them, I learned through him. He taught me that. He didn't teach me physically. He taught me how to do hair, but it was more just the personality, the psychology, and how the streets of hair work. And I will always, forever, I feel so blessed to have encountered him, to have worked at that salon with him, to have worked with everyone there, and also just the wisdom he had taught me. I still have never heard people be able to teach, and I've worked in many salons. And so I'm excited to bring this episode. As soon as I said I needed it, the break came, COVID came, I said, I'm going back home to my hometown. I'm going to Pittsburgh. This happened. This was, again, summer solstice, June, the weekend of June. Who knows? What was that? 2 months ago. So again, Jimmy is just a free bird, a wild soul. He's taught me everything, and he has so much wisdom for this industry, so much wisdom. So again, I was excited because he is my roots. He is where, again, the hair healer really began, and how I learned how to work with people began with Jimmy. I love him. He means more. He's definitely means the most to me and the most influential person in my entire career up to this day. I love him. He's my second father, everything. So I was excited. I'm super excited about this episode. Now I'm rambling, okay? I also got these 2 cats, which you guys will probably hear about. They're 11 and 11, these 2 black cats. They're super cute. I know, but my kids went with it, 11. Let me hop into this episode. Again, guys, follow me. The Hair Healer Podcast Facebook page, Instagram at The Hair Healer 1111, email The Hair Healer Podcast at yahoo.com. This is the bonus episode. Who knows if there's any more? Probably not until season 2. So please follow one of those things so you know when season 2 is coming. All right, let me jump into this episode. Love you guys. Hey everyone, it's The Hair Healer. Welcome back to The Hair Healer Podcast. This is season 2, episode 2 that I am recording. I can't believe it. Right now, if you're listening to it, we are in season 2, and I'm currently doing in-person interviews again after a crazy quarantine lockdown, doing Zoom interviews. So I am here out in Pittsburgh, near my hometown, as most of you know, and when I first started this podcast, I feel like I needed someone on here who has been the most in the industry, pivotal person, the person who taught me more than just hair. He taught me how to work a client, how to understand the psychology. He gave me the swag. He gave me the hair swag.
Thank you.
I'm not done, but go ahead and interrupt.
Cry.
You?
Go ahead. No.
See, listen to that deep voice. He was there when I was in my heroin addiction. He's a second father to me. Again, he is like he is a legendary human being. I will say that 100%. Wow. He's all the lingo I have. Like it's been a taste to heaven. All of the funny things, all of it. The reason why I feel like I am successful at the Hair Healer Podcast and why I was able to have these spiritual healing journeys with my clients is because of you. You taught me that.
Well, thank you.
So say hello. This is Jimmy.
Hello, I'm Jimmy.
My second father.
Her second father, my daughter. She even calls my brothers and sisters aunt and uncle.
I do.
That's all. I'm here because Colleen asked me, and I'm touched that she asked me.
Well,
Am I talking loud enough?
Yeah, I think that should be pretty good. I mean, I can always have it louder.
My voice is real deep.
It's the best voice. So one of the first things that comes to my head that I just want to talk about, like some of the things that he taught me, and then we'll just go from there in the episode. I will never forget. And people currently at the salons I've worked at actually kind of make fun of me for it because of what I say with it. But I remember, I think I questioned someone in the mirror, like a client, and I had said, again, Jimmy is he's my first boss that I ever worked with. We stayed friends. Father, I didn't add that part.
Later.
Okay, add to that later. But one of the things he had said to me, I think I was finishing up with a client and I said, do you like it? And he had pulled me aside afterwards and he was like, don't ever ask someone if they like it. If you say that, he said, if you ask them, that means they're going to have doubt in you. Their psychology, their subconscious is going to,
like
they're not going to think you like it and they're going to question it. So now what I say is, do you love it? I love it. And they make fun of me for that, but that was huge. That was like one of those things that they don't learn in beauty school and a lot of hairstylists don't teach in general.
No.
You know, what did you want to add?
Well, I forgot now, but I wanted to add this. We, oh God, what were we just talking about? We were just talking, whatever we were talking about, I was going to agree with again, but another example.
Of the psychology of how you taught me how to work with people. We're talking about looking in the mirror.
You got to be upfront with people. Not upfront to the part where you're obnoxious. You got to be upfront, like, hi, how are you? What are you doing here today? You know, just let it roll on. And you can't put ideas in people's heads. We're talking about with the hair.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't put ideas in their heads because they're going to believe them. And it's crazy because you'll tell some. When I'm done with somebody, I lift the mirror up, show them the back of everything with the hand mirror, okay? And I go, that is beautiful. I had a problem in the shop where I hired 3 people, first-year hairdressers. And I had a problem with them going, well, if you don't like it, you can come back. And I walked and I heard it out of the crowd. I said, do they do that all the time? So I walked up right in the middle of the lady and I said, no, I didn't. When they came in the back room, I said, never do that. I said, you take it and you look at that mirror, you go, man, that is super. Period. Even if it ain't super, it's super. And that's what you don't want to do. Put ideas in people's heads.
Well, that's exactly what you taught me.
That's what you do.
That's what you taught me. And that was something that was so strong because especially when you're starting out in the hair world, like you taught me how to fake it when you make it because it takes years. You're going to keep screwing up. And as you're talking, I'm just sitting here laughing of like, all of the things we have gone through together, I went through, and even just a short time, I can remember, again, my dad died during this time. Jimmy was there for me. I was in the middle of my heroin addiction. I became in my heroin addiction. And I remember you had known, right, that I was on drugs and it had killed you not to tell my mom. And I will never, I was thinking the other day.
I was a rat.
I was at Sublime Fest. I was at some like crazy festival and my family started getting at me. And like, I will never forget. You know, again, I could have died if he didn't. I didn't get clean right away, but I remember being so mad at you, being like, I hate you. I can't believe
that.
You ratted.
You come in, you were calling me a rat. Look at you. Who do you think you are? I said, I don't care how. I said, I just want to see you be a nice girl that you are. You know, that's all.
And you said you didn't want to see.
That's what I'm going to do.
And I remember you telling me that you didn't want to see me die, and that it would kill you if my mom had to bury me, and you did nothing about it.
Right. You know, Bonnie and Aaron, they're people
from the salon we worked at. Yeah, go ahead.
We worked at, very nice people. And they told me, they said, if you don't do it, I was pushed into it. If you don't do it, we're doing it, you know. And we think you can do it more attractively, though, or whatever, you know, whatever. They didn't want to do it.
They didn't want to do it.
Yeah. And I had to do it.
You watched me become a total mess and literally, what was that like? Do you remember watching me just spiral down into heroin addiction?
You were there, you know, around. And, you know, we had to put up with anything you said. It's like putting up with one of the other people. Just having some type of a shortcoming or something, whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And the drug thing is a shortcoming, you know. And, it was sad. It was
sad.
You were such I met Colleen. I started a job. I left Regis for a while because of something. I worked at Regis for 30 years and I left for a little bit and I worked at Alta's. Alta. And it was a nice little job. I did well, you know, but I took my first customer. I was on the floor and it was Colleen. I never met Colleen, heard of Colleen, didn't know her family. Colleen was totally out of my life until that day.
But then I never reappeared.
But I didn't see her. She could tell you from there. You tell it better.
So I was also, that was amazing.
No, you tell it.
Yeah, of course. Don't just be natural. You're doing good. The same
story.
The same story. I was 1 week into beauty school. I had just moved by myself.
I remember that.
And I didn't trust anyone. I wanted my haircut. I went in, and then we had a great conversation. I know I tipped you well.
Yes, you did. $10.
2 years goes by.
Good on a haircut.
2 years goes by, and my sister had worked. My sister, one of her careers, she also went to beauty school, and she got a job at Regis with Jimmy first. She left, and she said, Colleen, you should go to the salon. I show up for my interview, and I was like, holy crap, we remembered each other. I said, I was your first haircut and at this new salon, and you were my first haircut for moving out. And it was instant. I think you asked me if I liked to party because you only hired partiers.
Yeah. Yeah, I was but I was,
But you knew how to, here's something with
I knew
you.
how to be inappropriate.
Well, something about you that was so good, and again, we talked about this before, you allowed in a salon, you are who you are, which I am who I am, which is amazing. You have an extremely legendary personality, and you don't care what anyone thinks. I don't either. And you allowed in the salon, which a lot of places don't, you allowed each individual person to come, be their own, be themselves, and you basically ran the circus. We were a big circus of people.
I was like the master of, what do they call it, the ringleader.
The ringleader, and you always said everyone was important.
Master of Sarah, everybody was important, even Bo.
I just was going to say even Bo. Even Bo.
Bo's a guy, he's 79 years old. I hope he ain't listening to this.
Wow, he's 79?
Yeah, in July. I hope he's 9 years older than me.
Wow, he used to mess up on my hair because he couldn't see it.
But he is the coolest guy you'd ever. Everybody loves Bo. What were we going to say about Bo? I forgot.
We were talking even Bo. He had a purpose in the salon.
He had a purpose. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because by the time he had been working there, he was pretty much blind. Right. Didn't have a lot.
And everybody would walk in the door, even if they weren't his customers.
Yeah.
Okay, they'd say, hey, where's Bo?
Yeah.
Everybody knew Bo and liked Bo. Bo had an aura about him that was one I don't think I've seen too many times in my life.
No.
That's Bo.
No, and you were able to also, I feel like, and again, I've worked in a lot of salons after you created almost like a barbershop feel. Like you had just said, everyone knew everyone's clients. We were all friends. We all talked. We all shared. And that was something that I had never actually, again, until my current salon, Capriati Salon, really came across. Right. How did you create that vibe? Just by being you, just showing up and bringing the energy?
It was more of, I let a person go and do their thing. And if I seen something I didn't like, I would, I'd say something about it, nicely, I'd say, hey, I think it would be better if you could do this.
You got a lot of people to listen to.
You got to be your own. And, they listened too. I was happy. I don't know why.
All I keep thinking is you were like the zookeeper of all of us. The circus. We were the craziest salon. And this man was able to keep it together. What even got you into doing
We won President's Awards. We won a lot of awards. That was a great shop. We had a great team for years. A great team.
But then it all comes crashing down eventually.
Crashing down, yeah. Well, I quit.
You quit?
Manager, yeah. I mean, I stayed in the shop, something like...
But what, yeah. But once again, I only came across someone like you one other time, but as far as a manager-wise, they don't make people like you, like managers like you. The other person was Italian too. What is it with the Italian thing?
Well, because we get into our work.
Yeah.
And we think everybody around us, if they're there, should be into their work. And they can have a good time and do it too, do bullshit, whatever, So, yeah.
Now, one of the stories I want to talk about, and I reminded you right before, is you had a serial killer in your chair and you did their hair. Do you remember the story?
I know it. I know the story.
Can you tell the story? It's the craziest story.
Oh, yeah. I'm like Forrest Gump. Things happen to me all the time.
They do.
Oh, they do. I see people get killed, everything. All right. I worked at a place called Super Hair. Super Hair, it wasn't Super Cuts. It was like a It's where everybody came, all the young people. It was a great shop downtown Pittsburgh. Everybody came in. Busy shop. We were all good. We all had a good time. It was like my boss was a real nice boss, too. I modeled myself after my boss, Blaze Moore. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you used to talk about him.
He's in his 80s. He just retired when he was 82 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyhow, I'm working in this shop, and you get walk-ins, and I got this guy, and I remember the guy, kind of. Not really. I mean, what happened was I went home and there was a thing on my door that says the gas company was here, but it said the FBI was here.
And you didn't want to call them at first, right? They wanted
me to call them. Oh, my God, what should I call them? I skipped time, pack my bags, telling my wife, I don't know what happened, Maybe it says shady people I knew, something, So I called the FBI. And I said, well, I'm calling. My name's James Dinatale, and I'm calling because somebody was at my door and left an FBI post on it. And they said, oh, okay. And he started asking me about this guy, Jack something or whatever his name was. I said, I don't know him. And he goes, well, they knew he knew me. They tapped my line. He called me a lot of times, and I would just hang up on him. And I actually got rid of him. I told him to come over, and I was going to have a lot of people there to help me. This was crazy.
Really?
This was going on for weeks.
Oh, my God.
And that's when the FBI called after that. He'd call me. He called me one time and said, you just walked in your door.
Holy shit.
How about that? So he was keeping an eye on me. As it went, they told me if you see him or know him or anything, he says, please alert us, take our number down. He was wanted in 3 states for serial killer murder.
Why didn't they get him? They were just watching him?
They might have got, I guess they felt like they didn't have to call me. They got him.
Was he murdering men?
What's that?
Was he murdering men? Men?
I think so, yeah.
So you wouldn't have let anyone murder you?
No.
No.
Well, I would try not to. I could slip.
So
Isn't that a story?
Is that one of the crazy? I mean, what's the craziest story that comes to your head when you think of stories in the hair world, in the salon world? All your years behind.
Oh, one of the hairdressers went out one night and was talking to this girl, and she was hanging on him. Chucky's the hairdresser, he's a good friend of mine. And, what was I saying?
The craziest story, Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky that was at a bar with this girl. Now, her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, was number 2 guy in the mafia.
Well, really?
The city.
In Pittsburgh?
And he came in. Yeah, I could talk about it because he's dead. He came in the door. Him and one guy was Nick the Blade. They were gangsters, real live mafia guys, okay?
How old were you?
And they came, I was about 23, 24.
Okay.
They came charging through our door and went right to Chucky and beat him up so bad.
At the salon?
Oh, yeah, he had to go to the hospital and everything. But one pulled out a knife and right to my boss's throat. He said, I'll cut you from ear to ear. And the other one had a gun, big gun. And he put it right to the receptionist's head. I'll blow your effing head off if you touch that phone. And then they left after they beat him up, and they went down the street. And there was a bookie that had a place down the street, Harry. And they shot Harry. They stabbed Harry, and they shot the lot attendant. It was like a bodyguard for Harry.
Holy shit.
So then the news media came around, and we weren't allowed to say nothing. They all came in and said, you can't say anything of what you saw. I said, I know, because I'm from an area like that, so I know that. I'm insulted that you asked. But no, I didn't say that. I said, yeah, that's cool. So that was a crazy thing, I thought.
And that was all in the salon?
Yeah.
What did all the other clients do?
Oh, we were throwing people on the floor and everything. That gun was going around the room. you know.
What did they do afterwards? Was it back
They
to
left.
business? I mean, did everyone get back,
Oh,
finish
well,
getting
we
their hair
called
done?
the cops by then. Somebody called the cops, I guess. Um, Called the cops. There's people in and out all day. It was big.
That's
It was
big.
on the news. Kelly's Pittsburgh used to be a documentary, not a documentary, like, he tells
Yeah.
people what he thinks,
Yeah.
And he said, I read on his radio broadcast that I can't believe in the middle of downtown Pittsburgh, this guy comes in his shop and nobody can explain. Nobody has a description of this person in that whole place. It's a shame they let these gangsters do what they want to do. But what do you do?
Why was everyone scared?
Nick the blade.
Because back then no one cared. Like, they would kill you. They'd kill your family. Like, why were people
they were
scared?
mafia guys. Why? Because they were intimidators.
But they would really kill you, right?
Oh, sure. They'd do anything. They're psychopaths.
When I was a kid, I used to tell my dad that I wanted to marry into the mob.
Yeah.
It was the movies.
You ever see that movie, Married to the Mob?
No, I never saw that.
Michelle
movie.
Pfeiffer.
No.
Kind of like a comedy. She falls in love with the FBI agent that's watching her because her husband got killed by the boss.
Yeah.
It was a comedy, though.
I'm going to have to watch it. Now, something about you, Jimmy, is that you have faced so much adversity. And I think that's where I also get my work ethic from. Like, no matter what, it didn't matter if I was high. It didn't matter if I was broke, no matter what. Like, I would work and I would grind. And besides just work, like just in life, no matter what showed up in your life, was it health? Was it money? Was it the police? You kept moving. You just you took whatever it was and you just rolled with it, and you rolled with the punches no matter what. And that's a very, like, how do you do that? That's a hard thing for people to do.
Oh, it's a thing. It has to be done.
There's no
has
choice.
To be done. It's going to create you another problem if you don't handle it at the time. That's what I think. I don't know. I think everybody kind of rolls on and rolls on. Things happen in everybody's life.
But you do it positively, and you don't just sit. A lot of people don't. A lot of people will sit back and not do anything until
it usually works out for me. I don't want to brag about myself or nothing.
Brag about it.
It works out for me. I can stay pretty positive. I hate negative people around me.
I know.
Oh, do I hate that?
Well, keeps your vibe low. Keeps your vibration low.
Wife. The marriage didn't last long, trust me.
Wait, that was which wife? The last one?
Well, I don't want to say. She might be listening.
Oh, don't say the name.
Yeah. Somebody will be listening.
Oh, well, what happened with the negativity?
She was just negative all the time. A negative person. That drives you crazy. She's still one of my best friends.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. But
I thought it was the last one.
I can't talk to her without hollering at her because she's negative all the time. You know what I mean?
Do you tell her to stop?
Jesus Christ, stop being negative. Yeah. It's always negative.
I know. And what happens though is that energy just, it goes on you. It sucks you.
Right.
It drains you.
It goes on you.
You are like the 5 people you spend your most time around.
What?
That's what they say. You are like the 5 most people you spend your time around.
I don't get that.
So who do you spend the most time around?
People at work.
Well, those people are your greatest influence in your life.
My son. Yeah.
But good and bad, right?
People I see the most are the people at work.
Same.
Because I go, everybody. I think, at least your waking time. I'm not with anybody. I'm looking for a girlfriend, but nobody likes me.
What?
I just wanted to put that out there.
In case anyone's listening.
Yeah.
He's single, and trust me, he is a heart. He's a lover.
Yeah.
He's a heartthrob. You fall in love.
I'm a nice guy, You know
what you used to always tell me?
I have a free bus pass.
You used to always say, Colleen, there's nothing better than being young and in love.
There isn't. That is... In my whole lifetime, and I'll be 70 years, the best thing with me was when I was in love.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Love is the greatest thing to have. Problem is, a lot of times it didn't work out. But that's...
Why didn't it work out each time?
Well, I don't know. Life happens.
I know.
I had a lot of obstacles in my way. I mean, the kids, I just couldn't... I had a raise. I had
Yeah, you did. Speak a little bit louder into that.
Well, I had to do everything,
Plus work.
I had a lot of responsibilities when I was raising my children. But it all worked out.
It always does.
Everything does.
It always does. Do you know what I was thinking about the other day? There's a few things, again, as everything's coming back to me as we're sitting here doing this interview, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror. You're not putting your hand in front of me. Do you remember when we'd walk around the salon and every time, because I always like to look at myself in the mirror and I would be paying attention and he would be sitting there like I was talking to him and he would be like, put his hand right in front of me.
I hand in her face so she couldn't see it in the mirror. A lot of the girls did that, looked in the mirror while they were talking to you.
I think you have to be, as a hairstylist, we have to be kind of focused on how we look.
Yeah, you got to stay on top of your image.
Our image.
Image is everything.
Image is everything. Yeah. Something else I was thinking about is, do you remember our client that you and I both shared that got murdered? Marcelina?
Oh, Marcy, I thought about her.
Did you?
I about 2 weeks ago, I was actually thinking about her. I knew her well.
You did? Yeah, I think I
was one of the first people she knew in this city outside of her boyfriend she came here with.
Who was the husband that killed her, right?
No.
Oh.
No, it was her boyfriend. And he broke up with her because he met another girl. And she was here from far down near Kentucky, West Virginia. The one is far.
Yeah.
Not Wheeling.
Not Wheeling, yeah.
So I used to do her hair. And then she worked in a restaurant, a local restaurant, as a waitress. And I'd get her as a wait. We became friends.
Yeah.
And then she meets this guy. She can drive you crazy.
She was wild. And in fact, when I found out her husband had murdered her, I was shocked.
Her husband went nuts and stabbed her like 25 times. So that's nuts.
That is nuts. I'm not laughing because of that, but you took it right there. I was going to get into it. You took it right there.
What do you mean? I took it right there.
No, I loved it. I just was laughing, not because of that. It's very tragic. Just because just the way you jimmied it.
I made it plain and simple.
You made it plain and simple. Yeah. But I always thought that he was very quiet and she was the spicy one. I feel like she would have been abusive. She wasn't, but I feel like it would have been surprising that he was even had that ability because she was so fiery and he was very quiet.
Yeah. What a life.
What a life, right?
Yeah.
And she would come in and I remember sitting there and she would wait so then you did her and then after a while I came in the scene and I took over. It was like a family salon.
She was real at the end of her life. She would do anything to get him to work. And then she broke up with him for a long time. And then they
were separated when I did her hair.
Maybe a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
And they went back together and moved down south. And she drove him crazy till he went nuts and stabbed her 23 times.
It was... Why? How do you know the exact time? How do you know how many times?
I know a lot of people that are close to this.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's Jerry's cousin. Yeah.
Wait.
The guy.
So what? He's in jail now. Did any remorse? Did he ever write anything? Whatever happened with that? I
don't know. She died. The kids went with her parents.
Okay.
Yeah, they were. And one daughter had like a kidney ailment.
Yes, I forgot about that.
There goes Katie running back. Wave to her. Yeah.
Do you know what's funny? Since I've been doing these episodes and we're on it right now, there's...
Emmanuel.
We're doing... No, you're fine. My last home one, there was the dog barking and kids were coming in. And I like that because it keeps a natural flow as we're talking.
That was my granddaughter walking by the windows.
That was your...
Yeah, if anybody cares. Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah, so, all right. So what even got you into hair? Do I even know that?
Got me into hair?
Yeah, the women?
I'll tell you, when I was maybe 16, 15, I lived in the city of Pittsburgh in a neighborhood, Paulson Avenue, and there was a little business place. And we used in this hairdresser, Dale Craddy was his name. I see him once in a while too. Well, in passing, we don't go out to football games together or anything, So he was a young guy. He had all these every beautiful girl in the city came to Dale. And this was in a neighborhood,
Okay.
not in the whole city, but
Yeah.
a lot. And he drove a Jaguar, and he had it all. And one day I was downtown at one of the clubs. I was underage, but I used to look older dating cars like they do today.
Yeah.
So I went there, and I was looking at this girl at the bar, and he noticed it. And
He did?
walked over, and he said, "Here, why don't you buy her a drink? She's looking at you." And I said, "Oh, no." And, I didn't want to tell him I didn't have the money. I didn't. I was like 16 years old. And he said, "Here, take this and buy her a drink," and gave me a $20 bill. I said, "Wow, man, they must make some good money." I mean, $20 bill 50 years ago, no, longer than 50, about 55 years ago, a $20 bill was like a $100 bill.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was just the money in women?
My first car payment, the car was a couple years old, was $45.
So how long do you think? So you just got in it for money in women?
It looked like fun to me. It looked like a profession I could do, and it looked easy. But
How long did it?
As you know, it isn't easy.
Well, that was going to be my next question. How long was it till you started to get? How many years? Like for people starting out, how many years was it till you got the groove of it all? 2 years?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years. After about 5 years, you're pretty professional.
Yeah.
You're like a teenage professional after 5 years, and then at 10 years, you're like a responsible person.
And then at like...
Your personality's big in our business. I mean, we, as hairdressers, generally are those people that like to have fun.
Yeah. We're crazy.
We're the fun people.
We're the fun people.
Yeah.
So
We're having fun right now.
We're having fun right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
So is there any stories about any times you've ever screwed up in the first 5 years of doing hair? Do you have any funny stories there?
I don't know. Let me think of one. Oh, I had a girl that used to come to me, Patty. I remember her well.
Yeah.
And I gave her a perm on bleached hair.
Oh, you didn't know?
Well, she told me she never colored her hair.
Oh.
She covered over it brown, and it was a nice brown. And I said, "Are you sure you don't color your hair? Because it felt a little rough."
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, no, I would never color my hair."
I would never color.
And it fried right off.
What'd you do? How'd you handle that?
I cut all the dry ends off. I went real short.
Did you say, "This looks beautiful"?
No, well, I did. And she did too. And
Oh.
her husband, when I was done cutting it, her husband, "Man, you never looked so good in your life."
Oh, you lucked
She had a
out.
real tiny face. She could wear a super shirt. She was a beautiful girl, petite.
Yeah.
And it was perfect for her short haircut. So I did that. My boss, Blaze, told me, I walked back and said, "Oh my God, look at her fucking hair." You know what I mean? Excuse me, I swore.
No, you can swear on
And
here.
he said, "Oh, look at my fucking hair." I walked in the back room and my boss grabbed me and said, "Just go up and tell her I'd like to make a real short haircut on you." He goes, "Here, I'll come with you." And he came with me and he said, "Let him cut a really short haircut on you and you would love your hair." And I did.
And she loved it.
And as soon as I was done, I said, "Man, now you look beautiful." Her husband jumped up.
Really?
Yeah, because they were all pissed at me now because I fried her hair. I mean, she didn't have no hair left. Poor thing. But we all make mistakes.
We do. How do you
Luckily, remember, I used to say this to you, and I used to say this to Aaron and that crowd when they all started, when they panic over they messed something up. I'd say, "Well, it could be worse. You could be a heart surgeon." And then I'll laugh.
You used to say that to me.
Did I say that? Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
And you know what I loved? You never, especially because I was in my first 5 years when I worked with you, not only on the craziness, I will never forget, I was thinking about times I screwed up. Putting on, again, when I had those bleach clients, I didn't and there was no internet there was the internet, but there wasn't the online education we know now, and I didn't really know the purple toners.
Yeah.
And I remember taking this blonde and putting like something on her, and it turned straight purple and like and I remember you and John actually fixed it for me in the moment.
Really?
Yeah, but you just had this way of like, because I remember I came to you, I was like, holy shit, like I just made her hair purple and you need to fix it. And you just always had this way of like calming and kind of laughing. I'm sure you said something like that.
Make a joke about it.
Make a joke about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what always used to make me laugh actually is when someone would call and complain, right? And I'd get really upset or say something and share. You would look at me, dead face, and you'd say, "You want me to kill him?"
Yeah. Want me to kill him?
And I would always.
We just would talk about something. I always said that. You want me to kill him? You go, well.
And it made the moment that, well, but you had a way of just like, you know what? It is what it is. You know what I mean? You screwed up and we're going to take it.
Yeah.
How do you remember that in the moment?
It's what you do.
It's what you
do. I'm going to go over here and grab a piece of candy.
Well, here, I'll get it. What kind of candy?
I need to see the box.
Wait, hold on.
Because, there's different ones in there.
Okay, we're back.
I thought it was chewable, and it wasn't.
It was. Yeah. We just had a little candy break, of course. Back onto the episode. So, at the time, where I met Jimmy was at the mall. We worked at, it was called Regis.
Well, that's where we worked. Yeah,
Regis
I met
Salon.
you at Altus.
Yeah, but we worked at Regis Ross Park Mall. And we were right outside, and we were always, could you imagine us sitting out there now, always smoking cigarettes, loud, driver, and you knew everyone. The mall, that could have been a reality show. A reality show.
Oh, without a doubt, that's a sitcom. Oh, my people stop in.
The people that would stop in.
Yeah.
It was like the neighborhood.
The customers, too,
The customers.
You ought to see where I'm at now at Lisa's.
Why? What's it like?
Everybody in the whole neighborhood. It's in a city neighborhood, Morningside. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody stops in. Hey, Jimmy, Paulie, he's in
Stops in.
So I dig it. I like.
But you know what? You have that. You're a neighborhood man. You have this feel about you that most people don't. Everyone is like you. You're their best friend. You've known them for years. A lot of people say that about me, but I feel like I got a lot of that from you. I got a lot of it from you.
Shining.
I got the. He used to listen. Jimmy has always said I'm a star. If anyone has believed in me or this podcast more than anything, it's Jimmy. But when I was young and on drugs, he used to always tell me that I was Lindsay Lohan. He told me I was being Lindsay Lohan.
I did. You act like Lindsay Lohan.
He would say you're a star, but you act like Lindsay Lohan. Because that was when she was back and getting high all the time.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
And I would just... There were so many times. Do you remember what the time that Jack, God rest his soul, he passed away, Crazy Jack, from the salon?
What?
And PJ got into that fight on the floor?
Oh, that was horrible.
What would you do? How would you break up fights? You would break up a lot of fights.
I just told them both to, hey, cut it out. I said, get in the back room.
People, you know why people listen to you?
Why?
Your voice. Like when you're actually mad and you're serious, it's that voice.
I can sound mean.
Yeah, you're not really. You're a cancer.
Once in a while, I would walk in the back room and everybody congregates.
Yeah.
If somebody was there I needed to talk to, I'd say, that I was pissed at. I'd say, everybody out of the back room but you. They would cringe. And I'd yell at them. Shut the door, yell at them, and open the door and say, okay, now we're friends again. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So that's the thing is, so you basically...
And they said, okay.
I think actually why you are so good at dealing with people is you don't build resentment. You handle it in the moment, right? When you settle something in the moment, and then you forgive. You move on and move past it.
Yeah, forgive. Forgiveness is a huge thing in life.
It is. Have you always did it come easy to you, forgiveness?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's easy for me to forgive.
Yeah.
I mean, if you killed my brother or my sister, Aunt Janie, I wonder if she's listening.
She will be listening, hopefully.
She told me she's going to do it.
She's going to listen to it, Aunt Janie?
She wrote that. She found it on a computer.
Aunt Janie, good. Well, it'll be out.
She might be live.
It's not live, but she can listen to all my other episodes.
Because if she's live, she can call me.
She can call.
Hey, it's Aunt Janie.
You know what? I am going to start doing it. I have so many big plans.
Show.
And the Aunt Janie show.
Yeah.
Do you still do your family's hair?
Some of them, not many.
Do you like doing your family's hair?
No.
I hate doing that. Can we talk that on the podcast? And my family will be the first.
Well,
I
no,
don't like doing my
like
family's
doing
hair.
their hair. I do my brother-in-law all the time, goes to nobody else. I like doing it's our time together.
It's your time, and he's easy. You don't have to think.
Oh, he's easy. He looks like Eric Clapton. You ever meet Bonnie?
Yes, of course. I think I do. Yeah.
He looks like Eric Clapton.
That's
I always tell him that.
It's been a lot of years.
Yeah, but what was I saying about that? Oh, yeah, BJ used to come to me. Remember BJ?
Yes.
But his wife had a baby and his life's too busy to go that far.
Yeah.
So he goes to this girl,
I feel like my family always acts like they can just talk to me however they want when it's about their hair, because it's a family.
Yeah. I tell my sisters and my nieces if I like or dislike their hair. I don't tell them I just don't say anything.
What do you think about men who say they don't like their wives' or girlfriend's hair? Like after they get it done or those situations?
I don't know. That's you know what? With me, like my wives or girlfriends in my past, when I'd cut their hair and changed their look, I used to love it. It was like having a new girl. It really was. It was like having a totally different person, and it was true love.
It was true love.
I mean, you're brand new.
You're brand new.
Brand new. That's.
I just hate when I hear and so many times where men don't give the react. You know how to tune into a woman. Men, I see all the time.
So.
All a woman wants to do is hear their husband or maybe wow, you look beautiful. That looks great. Or I like the change. And meanwhile, yeah, it looks nice. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Or I hate what would happen in a salon is when the woman would love the hair and they go home and the husband is a dick and says something like, oh, I don't like your hair. And then they call back and the next day it's all of a sudden it's your fault and they hate everything.
I hate when their friends step in. You know what I really hate?
What?
I tell them actually, when I was new in the business, I would let it happen and it was stupid of me. They come in and we used to call them a quarterback. They bring
the quarterback?
Quarterback. It's their girlfriend who's sitting behind them. And as soon as they think you're not looking, they're going, oh, God, he's got that off. They're making it. And I
hate that. I know.
I said, I seen it. I'd like you to sit in the waiting room where I got to stop. One day I did that.
You did actually do that?
Actually, she went, I'm very sorry and all that.
Now they
the
text
girl who was getting her hair cut said, actually, that girl loved her hair when I was done, but she apologized up and down for that. I'll never forget that. Yeah.
Wow. That's funny that you said that,
That was good that I said it. But, I don't know how that would fly on everybody.
No, that wouldn't fly.
Me, I'd want to fight them if they said that to me. No, I wouldn't.
Now it's the texting. Now they text it. But that's funny. I never heard that term, the quarterback.
Oh, didn't you ever hear that?
I never heard that. Maybe you told me and I just don't remember that.
That's the person that stands there and tells them tells you how to do their hair. That's a quarterback.
That's the quarterback. Yeah. That's so hard. How do you deal with telling a client that you don't want them in the chair anymore or to be there?
That's happened to me a couple times.
What'd you do?
Well, one lady hated her hair the moment she seen me. she was new.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we're in the chair, and she's talking about how much she don't like her hair, and I didn't even cut it yet. So I picked up my blow dryer, I blew dry her hair, just get the wet out of it, and told her, I'm sorry, I ain't cutting your hair. She goes, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm not cutting your hair because you don't like it, and I haven't even picked my scissors up yet. I says, I don't need that. I'm all right with that. You going somewhere else. And John went nuts. John never seen me do that. John goes, boss. After she left, I'm proud of you, man.
But that's true. You read the room. You knew that no matter what, she was going to hate it.
There was nothing she was going to like.
Nothing.
Yeah. She didn't like it. I literally did not touch it.
You didn't even touch it?
No.
And you knew.
Scissors never touched that hair.
When people say to me, no one's ever done my hair right in the last 10 years or the last 5 hairs, I automatically know they're not going to like what I do. They're going to hate what I do. And they have the problem with it.
I think the biggest conflict I ever had with, I know I told you this story, the guy with the colic.
Oh, I tell that story.
Yeah, that's
Go
a
ahead.
good
You can
one.
say it if you want to.
Well, you probably told everybody.
No one else. Let's
Nobody
tell the
knows
story.
on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just edit the word they say.
Like no F word.
Yeah, but because they use a slur term, another term, right? Didn't they use the other word for gay? He called you that. Isn't that what happened? No, tell me the calic. I'm thinking of a different story. Tell me the calic.
He called me.
Yeah, F-A-G, that word.
That word.
So tell the story now.
All right.
People know the word.
I was doing this guy. He'd been coming to the shop. He'd go to the girls. He went to me one time. He was fine. No, he's a major pain in the ass that likes to intimidate. He's a bully.
Yeah.
You would classify him as a bully.
Yeah.
So he comes in, and then the next time he came back to me. Now, his story was he never got a good haircut from anybody but this old barber from Monroeville that moved to Jersey. It's the truth.
That's what he would say?
Said. Yeah. Then he'd say, and it'd stop. I'd say, well, I don't know the guy, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm then you tell him, you're all done. I don't like it. And he goes, so with the second time I did his hair, I showed him it, and he goes, I don't like it. And I said, well, I'm sorry. And he got up out of the chair, and went face to face with me. I could feel the spit.
Ugh.
And said, and I don't like you, F-A-G, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know how
that
to
word.
say it on here. The F word. Another F word. Okay. And I said, well, to show you how stupid the guy was, I told him to sit down. He sat right down, and I'm going over his hair. Well, what about this? And what about this? And there was a colic in the middle of his head, and I wish this was on film. I put the scissors totally flush with the scalp and cut the scalp off, and I said, here's this MF, and I'll get the F out of here.
You could say, motherfucker, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's what I told him. Here's this motherfucker, and I'll get the fuck out of here.
I love that.
It's a beauty. It was
So
a
what'd
good
he say?
story. He left, and on the way out the door, I made him pay.
You did?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was pissed, man. I wanted to kill this guy.
How old
Well, I
is he?
shouldn't say that. He might die tomorrow. And I'll
Then you'll
get
go
blamed
get
for it. I heard him on Colley's
Podcast.
podcast.
Did you ever think that we'd be sitting here and that you'd be sitting with me doing a podcast?
Never in a million years. I didn't think I'd ever see you again in my life.
Really? Even though I used to tell you I wanted to be a talk show host and I wanted to be famous.
I never thought I'd see you in my life.
Why? I knew I'd come back. I knew as soon as I made this
you
podcast,
got busy
I knew
with life. You
I
had
did.
a lot of life you were living there.
Don't scratch. We're on recording. They'll hear that.
Oh,
You're
sorry.
playing with that.
So, yeah, I guess I did have a few crazy people.
You had so many people. You had so many crazy stories. You had so much life. I just can't. I don't think I can get across how much you are ingrained. How I got to the hair healer. You are who taught me how to get there. You taught me how to understand people. You were my psychology teacher.
Jesus.
You were my hair psychology teacher. No one else has ever I've seen work people, or not to say work, that's a bad word, but been able to work with and understand people the way you and I do.
Yeah.
And I learned it all from you. And that's why I knew when I had this in the podcast and the healing, I needed you.
You said this once too. We both said it. We were destined to know each other.
Destined.
I mean, so many things happened with Colleen and myself. Since we met, we were destined. I mean, I met her, and then
You used to always say to me,
she was my first haircut at a shop.
I know, we told that story. You used to say to me, I used to love it. Colleen, if I was 30 years younger, I would wreck your world.
I'd ruin your life.
Ruin your life, that's what you'd say.
And you'd love every minute
And
of
you'd
it.
love every minute. I think that might have been what happened. I think in a past life.
Sometimes when you ruin your life, you love ruining it because then you're having fun.
Fun, yeah, it is fun, honestly.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's on the way to hell is fun.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It's fun.
But it's fun. But I think in a past life, that might have been it. Maybe we were together in a past life
Yeah.
And then you ruined it. And then that's why you ended up being my father in this life.
Yeah.
Do you think? All right. Well, we're getting to the end of our show, right? But at the end, I ask 3 questions. Are you ready for these 3 questions?
I'm ready. I think, like, what are they? They personal?
Kind of.
Okay.
Don't play with that. Give me that. Throw that over there.
Sorry.
that
I
over
keep
there.
crinkling this paper.
Are you nervous?
No, it was just there.
That's what I love with you, though. You and I are someone who can just give shout demands back at each other. We're not sensitive.
No.
We're like, we can, whatever.
You would
All right.
never say anything that bad that would make me...
Did you have a good childhood?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you ever reflect back on your inner child? Healing or parts?
What do you mean?
Well, one of the questions I ask
tell me.
is what if you could go back and see little Jimmy, right? At a point where little Jimmy was not maybe the happiest or whatever, and you could go talk to him or whatever, what would you say to him?
Oh, gee, that's a tough question.
Is that a tough question?
That is very tough. Let me see. What would I say to Jimmy?
Little Jimmy.
Go ahead, little Jimmy. What would I say to him? If I went back to a time he was, I'd have to pick the time first. Let's see. Maybe 7, 8, and when my father died.
That's right.
My
He died
life
young.
changed. There was a little bit of, I can't think of the word for it, trauma.
Of course,
It
trauma.
Traumatized my whole family, of course.
How'd he
My
die?
mother. Bad heart.
Bad heart.
Yeah. So yeah, our lives changed.
What would you say to him?
Not to worry about it, to keep moving. I raised myself. My mother had 5 kids. I mean, I didn't raise myself. I did somewhat. We all did.
Yeah.
The neighborhood raised us.
The neighborhood. Wow.
Yeah. We had
Morningside?
No, Larmer and Paulson.
Oh, yeah.
We had a neighborhood, a village, and that's where you learn almost everything. When you're real little, you went with your mother and father, and then once you're set free, you meet the person next door, and then you meet their neighbor next door to them on the other side, and you start meeting people, and that's how you learn.
Wow.
Yeah.
It takes a village, and I think that's something that I would love to get back to. I think we used to both say that we could live in a hippie commune.
Oh, I could live there.
Me too.
I'd have to be in charge of. I would.
You'd be a good boss. You'd be in charge. You'd be good in charge of the hippie
If I
commune.
was in charge, I would never belong to one.
No.
But I'd like to.
So, what is the biggest piece of advice anyone has ever given you?
Everybody, every morning, don't say, I wonder where Jimmy Dinatale is right now. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? So no one's wondering really where?
Well, nobody cares.
No one cares.
Yeah, nobody cares. You're paranoid about this, paranoid about that. You're talking about it to your friends and all that. And the one friend of mine, Alphonse, said, Jimmy, the problem with you is you don't realize that everybody in the world don't wake up and talk about Jimmy Dinatale. He said, maybe your mother.
Maybe your mother.
He said, maybe. He said that to me. And he's right.
It's important to know that.
Yeah,
you're
you're
right.
paranoid. You think everybody's talking and looking. I used to say that to Lisa.
Yeah.
My God, that was her committee. Yeah, she was crazy with that. He's looking at me and
Most people aren't at all.
Nobody is. Yeah. I mean, who am I? Everybody's going to stare at me all day.
I like that. And that's a good reminder to ground yourself and get back into that. Get humble. No one really gives a shit.
Yeah, nobody cares. I've seen that in movies and everything where the guy would say, look, nobody cares. And it's true. Nobody does care.
My dad
Some people do.
My dad used to say that whenever he was dying, actually. He would say, Colleen, he was like, I always thought that no one would go on without me, but life goes on.
I had a great love in my life. And she used to say that to me, if I ever learned anything from you, it was nobody cares. And she meant it. She was, She said, I never thought of it that way because nobody does care.
No, they really don't in the end.
Maybe I care about you, you care about me, but nobody cares, you know. A little bit of caring.
Little bit of caring.
Yeah.
So what's the last piece of advice? What's the leaving last piece of advice you want to listen for the world? You can give the world anything, piece of advice. What do you want to say? Jimmy Dinatale. I mean, this man has a lot.
Don't vote for Trump.
Don't vote for Trump.
Don't vote for Trump would be my first one. No, I don't know, man. We got to preserve the world. There's a lot you can say right now. I mean, times are so crazy. I've never in my whole life seen how bad things can get like this. This was bad. I mean, the disease or the, whatever.
What'd you call it? The coronas?
The coronas, yeah. The coronas disease. We have that on top of, we're having a revolution.
We're having a revolution.
Period. We ought to play that song. These haters going.
Wait, holy shit! I just had chills. You used to always say this, and almost it's happening now, but in a different form. You used to say 10 years ago, and now I'm sitting here with you, and it's happening.
Yeah.
That we were headed towards World War III.
Oh yeah.
Now hopefully we're not there, but we're there right now, though, in a way.
Anymore, I don't think it's a world war. Rather than a world revolution.
Yes.
It's the young people.
They're amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
It's amazing what's happening. And I don't know if it's good or bad because I never lived that way. I mean, as long as I can live and be like I am now, I'm happy with
I think it's going to be good because I think that's the goal. I think all the young people want everyone to live like you and I. And that's the goal of the podcast is for everyone to be able to live free, being who they really true and authentic. And I think and then that's going to lead to collective happiness everywhere.
Right.
Huh. So is that's their advice?
Here's my grandson just.
Well, Jimmy,
let's see if he looks in.
This has been good. This has been amazing. Is there anything else you want to say? Again, the whole world's listening.
Thank you for letting me have it. There's Kara. Kara. That's my granddaughter.
I'm laughing because this is the second episode I've done in someone's house with someone else. And when the family starts showing up, I take that as the universe is telling me it's time to end the episode.
Right. Okay,
thank you again, Jimmy, for being on.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for getting me. And you're one of the reasons why I am who I am today.
Thank you. Thank you for being my friend.
Oh, I love you. I love you. Thank you, everyone who's been tuning in and enjoying.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
And been enjoying season 2. I love everyone. If you're in the Philadelphia area and you have a story, a message, anything you want to bring, please contact me. If you want to be on the Hair Healer podcast, my email is thehairhealerpodcast@yahoo.com. I'm on Instagram @thehairhealer1111. And feel free to message me if you have any questions, requests, anything. Please feel free. Don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you. Please like, share, subscribe, rate, review, whatever you do with this episode. Please get it out there to the world. Thank you. I love everyone. Have a fabulous day. Bye.